In the fall of 1902, a small, seemingly tranquil town of Carpenters Station, Kentucky, was thrust into a world of terror and mystery. It all began with Janie Ferris, an innocent young girl whose life took a sinister turn. Janie's existence was shattered when she was consumed by a series of inexplicable seizures, plunging her into a realm of darkness and the unknown. During these haunting episodes, Janie transformed into something far beyond herself. She became a vessel for the supernatural, a conduit for forces that eluded comprehension. In her trances, Janie's voice transcended the boundaries of the mundane, reciting eerie poetry and singing haunting hymns that sent chills down the spines of those who bore witness to her enigmatic transformation. However, it wasn't just the ethereal hymns and poetry that painted a disconcerting portrait. Janie's behavior took a turn for the macabre, as violent outbursts consumed her fragile frame. She lashed out at her adoptive parents, driven by an unseen force that defied reason. The desperate couple, fearing for their safety and Janie's well-being, were left with no choice but to confine her to the foreboding walls of Lakeland Asylum in Lexington. But even within the confines of the asylum, the insidious specter that plagued Janie refused to be contained. Astonishingly, after a mere 6 weeks, the staff declared her free of any affliction, urging her adoptive father, Lawrence Ferris, to bring her back home. Yet, as they embarked on the journey, hope dwindled into despair as Janie succumbed once more to the clutches of her torment. The direness of the situation was such that Janie had to be restrained, her writhing and violent outbursts necessitating physical confinement. A chilling pattern emerged, as inexplicable occurrences gripped the household. In moments of Sally Ferris's absence, the room transformed into a twisted stage of chaos. Furniture upturned, the room left in disarray, ominous signs that something far more sinister lurked within their midst. But it was the peculiar entanglement of Janie's shoes, mysteriously bound to her restraints under the bed, that evoked a sense of foreboding unease. As if an invisible hand sought to weave an enigmatic tapestry, the shackles of reality were overshadowed by the entwining forces of the supernatural. As the nights grew darker, a sinister symphony reverberated through the house. The sound of relentless knocking echoed through the hallways, penetrating the very souls of those who dwelled within. In a desperate attempt to quell the disturbance, Lawrence pulled Janie's bed into the center of the room, believing her convulsions were the cause. Little did he know that this simple act would usher in an era of unparalleled terror. Morning dawned, and the cacophony of the knocking grew louder, its haunting echoes amplified throughout the house. The walls themselves seemed to tremble with trepidation, as if the very foundation of reality had been irrevocably shaken. Driven to the edge of their sanity, Lawrence sought answers beyond the confines of reason. He tore the weatherboarding from the house, an act of desperation to unveil the source of the infernal symphony that plagued their existence. But what he discovered defied logic and comprehension. No trace of a wild animal, no signs of intrusion or disturbance. The house stood sealed, as if guarding an enigma it dared not reveal. News of the supernatural occurrences quickly spread like wildfire throughout the town, igniting a feverish curiosity among its inhabitants. Whispers echoed through every street and alley, captivating the minds of over 300 eager souls who flocked to the infamous Ferris house, drawn to the allure of the paranormal. The mere thought of witnessing the unexplainable sent chills down their spines, fueling their insatiable desire to unravel the mysteries that lay within those haunted walls. Even amidst the swelling crowd, the tumultuous echoes of the rowdy wraith persisted, its ghostly presence tormenting the once peaceful abode. Astonishingly, those living over 100 yards away claimed to hear bone-chilling rappings emanating from the Ferris house, as if the very essence of fear had taken a physical form. Thomas Cotton, a skeptical resident residing within the enigmatic radius, scoffed at the tales of spectral encounters. However, Lawrence, a brave soul undeterred by the skeptics, dared his neighbor to venture into the heart of the supernatural abyss. Reluctantly, Thomas accepted the challenge, convinced that his unwavering skepticism would remain unshaken. Little did he know the terrifying ordeal that awaited him. With trepidation seeping into his every pore, Thomas approached the ominous house, hesitantly placing his trembling hand upon its weathered exterior. In a heartbeat, an otherworldly force crashed against the inner wall, striking with the malicious might of a vengeful axe-wielder. The disbelief that once consumed Thomas was instantly shattered, replaced by a chilling realization that the forces at play defied all rational explanation. Determined to shed light on the enigma that plagued the Ferris house, Lawrence implored over 50 brave souls from the neighborhood to join him in his quest. Together, they embarked on a nerve-wracking exploration, combing every nook and cranny, desperately seeking the elusive source of the haunting knocks. Yet, their endeavors proved fruitless, as the spirit toyed with their sanity, concealing its presence with maddening skill. Even the esteemed Dr. Wilhun, Janie's physician, could not escape the clutches of the supernatural phenomenon. His trained ear captured the haunting rappings, resonating through the very fabric of his scientific certainty. Though he attributed Janie's nervous convulsions to a mundane diagnosis, earthquakes in the region provided an insufficient explanation for the sinister symphony that plagued the Ferris house. Janie's deteriorating condition cast a shroud of despair over the Ferris family, their hopes hanging by a thread. It was then that Sally, her mother, guided by a desperate instinct, encouraged her daughter to communicate with the enigmatic spirit. With trembling lips, Janie beseeched the ethereal entity, her voice quivering with both fear and longing, eliciting a response from the beyond. Four resounding raps shattered the silence, answering Janie's heartfelt query about her birth mother. In that bone-chilling moment, the veil between the realms of the living and the dead seemed impossibly thin. The house itself became a conduit for the ethereal, a vessel through which messages from the great beyond were delivered. She then dared to summon the boisterous being, her heart pounding with trepidation. If she were truly destined to meet her demise, she requested a sign, 3 distinct knocks to pierce the ominous silence. As her trembling words faded, the air grew heavy with anticipation, until suddenly, an otherworldly force unleashed a series of bone-chilling knocks that reverberated through the ancient halls of the house, rattling the very foundation of her existence. But the terror had only just begun. As the echoes of the third knock faded into the ether, a shiver ran down her spine. A medicine jar, innocently resting on a table beside Janie's bed, defied the laws of physics and crashed to the ground. Perplexed, her friend Sally hurriedly picked it up, desperately hoping for a logical explanation. Yet, as she gently placed the jar back on the table, it inexplicably leapt from her grasp once more, as if taunting her incredulity. Growing increasingly aggravated, Sally attempted to restore the jar to its rightful place. But this time, something wickedly malevolent seized control. With an unseen force of unfathomable strength, the jar was hurled from the table, hurtling through the air like a projectile of impending doom, and upon impact, it shattered into countless shards that scattered across the floor like a mosaic of shattered dreams. Janie, caught in the midst of this supernatural spectacle, clung to her fragile existence, miraculously spared from the clutches of death. However, fate dealt her an unexpected blow, as her vision faded into an abyss of darkness, plunging her into a world of shadows and uncertainty. In the depths of her despair, a vision materialized within her dreams, an apparition of her mother tenderly applying a mysterious ointment to her sightless eyes, as if whispering an ancient incantation of redemption. With bated breath, Janie awoke from her ethereal slumber, her heart pounding with equal parts hope and fear. To her astonishment, the darkness that once enveloped her eyes lifted like a phantom fog, replaced by a glimmering light that gradually unveiled the world in all its splendor. She could see once more, but the origin of this newfound sight remained shrouded in enigma. However, the tale of Janie Ferris, like a fleeting wisp of smoke, vanished from the public consciousness. The newspapers, once avid chroniclers of her extraordinary journey, abruptly fell silent, leaving the mystery of her inexplicable transformation to languish in obscurity, forever lost to the annals of history. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let us know which small-town ghost stories you would like us to dig into. Also, please check out the Southern Ghost Stories books at Amazon and anywhere else books are sold.